how to do the secret ending. Welcome back. At least we're going to try again. For some odd reason, it didn't work before. So we're going to check all requirements now. And if you want to do that, you need Toybox. That's a modification that you will find on Nexus Mods. Will be explained how you install that. And once you have this installed, you need to go into Etudes. Now, it's an odd word, Etudes. You have to imagine, how do I make a game as a developer, and where do I find or where do I write down certain information about events. And this is what these tudes is all about. We can check any quest, any event, any choice made, and we can change it. And there are data mined by the community, data mined requirements. We know that it is necessary to have these to achieve the secret ending. And now we're going to check all of them. Well, the first there are hard requirements and soft requirements. Hard requirements, you need all of them 100%, or the secret ending will not come. And soft requirements, we need at least 5 out of 7. Okay, so hard requirement. The first hard requirement is do not be a legend. You cannot achieve the ending if you are a legend. We are not a legend, so check. Second hard requirement, we need to pass a perception check while talking to Arilu in chapter 4. That is called Player Knows that Arilu cares about Stitch. So player knows that Arilu cares about Stitch. Active. Perfect. So we have the first hard requirement. Now the second. Persuade her by selecting dialogue corresponding to 5 of the 7 soft requirements below. Okay, that we cannot have right now because that will follow later. Even though Arilu... Is this not working? Maybe it cannot be modded, this counter. Arilu... Push... That's interesting. Persuasion. Okay, apparently this cannot be modded, but it doesn't need to, because we need to do this later when we talk to her. And the third hard requirement, have put together a lexicon of paradox, and that we can check with TE lexicon true. And it is active. Perfect. And the next, perform the studying the unusual crystal research project. Increase in Crusader mode. That is TE fresh crystal and active. Perfect. The next hard requirement is perform the Arilu Warlash's draft research in Crusade mode. And that is called TE Ari Secret Project. And active. Perfect. So we have that hard requirement as well. Perform the Arilu Warlash's drafts Perform the studying the Sword of Valor research in Crusader mode, called Banner Project. And active. Perfect. Next one is choose the you shouldn't have put your faith in your father option when talking to Hepsamira's ghost in the electable prison after dealing with the Hand of the Inheritor. True ending. Wait, what? Great. Priestess summon active. Okay, so we have that hard requirement as well. Killed Echo of Descari in Threshold. Echo Descari dead. Active. Killed Descari. Killed is active. Good. Perform the records of Pulura Stargazer's research in Crusade mode. TE Pulura Project. Active. Okay. Month is 4 and days 15 to 21. Okay. We have 4. Roman 5 and 1 in front, so 4. And 16. So we are right here. Perfect. And we either have to have a midnight arrow, a fresh crystal, or the crystal dagger on us. And we most definitely have that. I'm going to check, but I know that we have. We have a lot of fresh crystals on us. There we are. We have 7 fresh Nahindrian crystals. Perfect. These are the hard requirements. We have all the hard requirements. And now we're going to check the soft requirements. And the soft requirements are the following. First, the first choice that you have to make in the game is very important. Do you shoot the crossbow or do you not shoot the crossbow? So it is called Arilu crossbow. Taken, active, perfect. You need Arilu crossbow taken. The next soft requirement is rescue Yaniel and give her the neutral or evil answer when she later asks a question. So TE fake Yaniel. Oh, not started. Start. Started. Okay, interesting. But we don't necessarily need that one. I mean, we did not take the choice, so true ending complete. Soft requirements. Exhaust all questions when talking to Arilu in chapter 4 till she says you are seeking answers, trying to understand the crux of the matter. Called TE audience. Wait, no? It is TE audience Arilu. Ah, there it is, active. Okay, perfect. And then we need gun through Arilu's secret lab. Dialogue scene Arilu cell. Why does it not work now? Cell Arilu lab again. C4 dialogue. Okay, nothing happens. Then let's just search for C5, not C4. So this is a bit buggy. It doesn't want to show me. Show comments, some in Russian. That's a bit odd that we can't seem to find it. It's called Arilu cell, Arilu lab again, C5 dialogue. But for some odd reason it doesn't show up now. And the next one is the soft requirement, is still in the first room of Arilu's secret lab, click on the crypt, drawings and textbooks in that order to create a container holding gloves. Take the gloves to get the flag TE ALR correct sequence. Active. Perfect. Now we need grab the summoning solution from the first screen of Arilu's lab and use it in the center of the summoning circle on the second screen. TE ALR hard mode. And the next requirement is reach level 8. Total mythic level of 10 in any of the following paths: Aeon, Angel, Asceta, Demon, Lich, or Trickster. And we have that. As you can see, mythic path 10. Done. So now the question is, of course, will this work? And we're going to find out. And summary, okay, step 25 again. Exhaust all the dialogue, then fight her. Exhaust all the dialogue relating to changing her mind about her experiment. Answer either number 1, 2, or 3. Save game. Going to save it again. Trial of the Secret.
This is where it happened. It was here that I conducted the ritual. A researcher must be particularly resilient in the face of mistakes. Incorrect hypotheses. You're so adept at magic. Of course, I've been preparing for our meeting. And hopefully yes, I wanted to. You have seen a goddess. You have been face to face with demon lords.
So let's go with I cannot justify your actions, but I understand them.
How strange. You are a kindred spirit. We are so alike. Perhaps the experiment wasn't such a failure.
Oh, now I see. We were on the path of the... Oh, we were on the path of the secret ending, but I failed that. We would have... It was our duty to take number 1. Ah, damn it. Okay. Why did you call me your failed experiment?
When I poured what was left of my son's soul into your... I watched you day and night, waiting for
Hey,
it
you
to
merged the
happen.
remnant of your son's
For
soul
your
with
memory to
mine?
awaken
Why do you
or-
want to harm
or
me?
If a hypothesis is proven wrong, it needs to be rejected. It will kill me eventually. The tearing of the soul.
It's true.
Followed by... And it's finally time to end all this.
And maybe killing? Yes, yes.
Asking me to stop. Death is not the end. I promise.
Okay, let's see how that one turns out this time.
I never thought that I would be responsible for the creation of my most powerful enemy.
Stop. Listen to me. You called me a failed experiment. But what if you're wrong?
I would be overjoyed to discover that I am wrong. I tried to hope, even though there was no hope left. But wait, why do you care? Why are you trying to change my mind?
I think we're on the secret ending path. I want to know. I want to follow the truth, no matter where it leads.
That thirst for truth and knowledge, that is so familiar.
For just a moment, the insane light in Arilu's eyes gives way to curiosity.
But what makes you think I will listen to your arguments? I have gone too far to turn back. I must walk the path I have chosen.
I know you are not as mad or as fixated on your goal as you'd like others to believe, or for that matter, as you'd like to believe. I know that you care for the suture. Your ridiculous minion means something to you. You were concerned about him.
You think I'm wrong about you? Why? We are not talking about numbers, equations, and magical reactions. This is about the soul, about whether or not you have what I lost.
Arilu glares at you and you cannot see that your words have had any effect. Remember when you sent the suture to give me the crossbow loaded with the midnight bolt in Kenabris? I knew nothing of your plans, yet I already felt instinctively that the weapon was meant to be mine.
Yes, I remember. I wanted to check, to see for certain if it would awaken your instincts. I was so full of hope that day.
Damn, okay, so we are on the right path of secret ending, that's perfect, but seriously, I failed that last episode, or 2 episodes before, because of that one tiny choice in the dialogue? Because of this power blah blah? Damn it, damn game, you just punished me. After 150 hours of gameplay, I made one choice that was almost the same, effectively the same as a result, but you completely changed the ending. I mean, game what? You came to me disguised as Yaniel and asked me difficult questions, but I know that I answered them correctly, the way that you had hoped.
Yes, I was disguised as Yaniel. This was our first conversation face to face. I was desperate. I needed to know who you were, to understand what you were. I wanted to find out if there was anything about you I recognized.
In Opticula's palace you offered me power, but I was more interested in discovering the truth. Interesting, that is a soft requirement that is not part of the guide that I found. So there is another one. In Nocticula's palace you offered me power, but I was more interested in discovering the truth.
You hungered for knowledge. You desired the truth more than anything else.
As you are talking, something changes almost imperceptibly in Arilu's gaze and posture. She listens to you more attentively, sometimes with a slight frown, and at other times with an expression that could almost be mistaken for curiosity. When we spoke together in the secret part of your laboratory, you asked me quite a few questions. It was like you were testing me. So, did I pass?
Yes. I wanted to see if something would stir within you when you met my son's murderer, and when you encountered the one who betrayed me. But it doesn't matter. I asked questions, you answered them, and I thought I could hear the echoes of the past in your voice.
You showed me several items in your laboratory. They belonged to your child, didn't they?
Yes. I was wondering if it would spark something in your memory. It was foolish of me, I know. And yet, you really did pick up my son's favorite belongings first.
I mean, seriously, that's a good reason. This requirement is ridiculous. You can't know in which order you have to pick something up, but then again, I mean, her reasoning is very good. It was foolish, yes, but we did know for no apparent reason at all which items to pick up first. Damn it. Okay, game, you are forgiven.
That's enough. I can see now. It was naive of me to think I could just revive my son the way he was before his death. But there is so much of him in you. So much of me. I can't think of you as anything but my child. I have wandered in the dark for so long, but now I finally see clearly. I know how my path must end. The wound still erodes your soul, as it does mine. Let me put an end to my creation. Let me step into the flames and perish, so that I can heal you.
What? Okay. After you give her 5 of the 7 reasons why she should believe you, it shows the option to work with her. Wait, what? If you fail, it's because you missed something. Arilu gazes at you for a long moment. Maybe we picked the wrong ones. It's difficult to read her emotions, but then her crimson eyes grow bright, grow. I was about to say glow, but no, grow, and she looks at you with renewed purpose. I'm sure that's another answer. Just hear me out. If we work together, we might be able to find another way to close the wound.
All these years, I've been playing a game with mortals and forces beyond mortal comprehension. But now I am a pawn in your game. I do not know your next move. I can't even imagine what plan you have in mind. So explain it to me. One step at a time.
Deciphered your notes in the lexicon of paradox and know that this mythic power is supposed to protect both of us from death. But the power has its limits. Do you think we have already reached them?
I see I was right to leave the lexicon in a place where you could find it. Yes, that is correct. We've reached the limits of our power. I did so long ago, and you've realized your full potential only recently. Mythic power cannot be made any stronger. At least, I have not been able to do so successfully. That means we are now living on borrowed time, counting down the days until we die from the wound's influence.
Interesting. This is a hard counter, a hard requirement that is not part of the guide as well. We received our mythic power from the Nahindrian crystals, but the crystals mined in the depth of the Midnight Isles are not the only ones that exist. The freshly shed blood of a demon lord wounded by a midnight bolt will also form into a crystal. Have you tried extracting mythic power from the crystals created in that way?
No, I have not. I haven't had the chance. It was in Canobris that I had my first chance to test the improved version of the Midnight Bolts against the demon lord Descari. The crystal dagger you found in Canobris was the first Nahindrian crystal that was procured in such a fashion. I gather that you know more about them than I do.
I've studied the notes and papers that I have found hidden in a secret part of your laboratory. You believe that the world wound works both ways, that it has the same impact on the adjacent areas of the Abyss as it does on the lands of Golarion?
Yes, I am sure that is the case. I have evidence from my experiments. The wound affects the material plane, poisoning it with the corruption of the Abyss. But it also affects the Abyss, bringing in a small amount of order and harmony from the material plane. The only reason it is not as apparent in the Abyss is the presence of the Demon Lords. They hold near infinite power over their realms, and their existence staves off the wound's influence.
Interesting, so if we get rid of the Demon Lords, the influence of the wound would go say hello to their realms. The Sword of Valor changed when it came into contact with me, and I believe that's a sign. The same relic changed under Iomede's influence when she was on the path to godhood. It's as if the sword could foresee her ascension.
Yes, indeed. The Sword of Valor was Iomede's banner before she passed the test of the Starstone and ascended to heaven. I've never studied the Sword of Valor. Perhaps I should have. It is a truly fascinating artifact, and the way it interacts with you is incredible. Could it have picked up the early signs of your nascent divinity? I do not know.
Now let us put all of this together. It is fair to assume that mythic power has a limit, but there is always a way to push the boundaries of what's possible, and we have a way to do that, through the power of a Nahindrian crystal. But it can't just be any Nahindrian crystal. It must be a crystal created from the blood of the recently slain Demon Lord, and that Demon Lord's realm needs to be in contact with the world wound.
It's unpredictable and dangerous, but all bold plans carry risk. What you propose might work. Whoever absorbs the power of a newly killed Demon Lord will inherit their realm in the Abyss. If we throw in a connection to the wound, we will end up with something unique. You will have the power of a demigod and an abyssal realm that changes at your whim.
Very interesting. So you might just notice, up to this point, you didn't need this whole extracting blood from a Demon Lord. So that is an information that a player, when he played this game first, when there were no guides, didn't have. But then after hearing this, maybe one in the community thought to himself, okay, let's try Midnight World on a Demon Lord. Let's take an old save game. Let's see what happens. And of course, this is all part of the secret ending. We, of course, know about it already because we have guides now, because the game was released months ago.
Yes, your plan might work. I see no reason we shouldn't at least try. But how? There are only 3 Demon Lords whose realms are tied to the wound. Baphomet, Discari, and Nocticula. I doubt we'd be able to carry out a cunning murder of the Lady of Cunning and Murder. As for Baphomet and Discari, after the lessons you've taught them, they will never risk another engagement. They'll engage in clever maneuvers. They'll hide, but they won't face you in battle.
I learned a secret from Hepsamira. The archpriest of a Demon Lord can summon their master in a moment of danger, and they are bound to appear. We could lure out Baphomet and Discari. Wait, game, are you telling me that in order to finish the secret ending and attain godhood, we need to kill 2 Demon Lords at once? Jeez.
They are bound to appear? I didn't know that. No wonder Demon Lords are so careful about choosing archpriests.
The Echo of Discari is dead. Oh, that is why we had to kill the Echo. You were 1 second to him within the hierarchy. That means you are now the archpriestess of Discari.
Correct. And the Locust Lord still hasn't deprived me of his favor. He should have done that a long, long time ago.
And that is why we had to kill Hepsamira. It all makes sense now. You were second to Hepsamira, but now she's dead. That makes you the new Archpriestess of Baphomet.
Yes, it is true. Baphomet outsmarted himself when he granted me power and patronage behind Ascari's back.
Both Baphomet and Ascari were killed recently. They returned to life, but now they are in their mortal forms. If we can fight them and kill them again, their realms will no longer be under their power and influence.
And I could summon them. No, it's still too much of a risk. The world wound is more than a rift. It has a life of its own. To accomplish the plan you have conceived, we would need to channel an immense current of power through it, all the way to the realms of the demon lords. It would be 100 times more difficult than simply closing the wound.
Oh, that is why we need the specific date. We don't need to data mine it. I've studied the records kept by the stargazers of Polura, and I know that there are certain days when the influence of the wound is at its strongest.
It's remarkable that the worshippers of Polura were able to discern this. Yes, you are correct. Such days do exist, but they occur very rarely, only once or twice a century at most.
Today is one such day. I made sure to arrive at Threshold at precisely the right time.
I can't run the full calculations right now, but I think you're right. This is the day when the wound is most malleable. We could shape it as easily as a master potter molds soft clay.
Arilu ticks off her fingers, adds something up in her head, and then nods in amazement. So what are you waiting for? Summon Baphomet and Ascari. The time has come for mortals to challenge the Lords of the Abyss, and we will surpass them in every way.
I have one final question for you. Do you have a new Nahindrian crystal in your possession? Without one, this whole plan is doomed. Unless, of course, you happen to have a midnight bolt. If so, we can procure a crystal right now.
Crystal that was created recently.
Then let us begin. I do love interesting challenges.
Yes, it worked 150 hours. And even though we made a couple wrong choices because of the modification, we're still secret ending territory. Perfect. Okay, Arilu slowly rolls up the sleeves of her gown. Are you ready to attain godhood? There's a gleam in her eyes, a slight sparkle of amusement.
Discari, Lord of the Locust Host, Arilu Vorlesh calls to you, as I once called before from within these very walls. I am the first of your servants, and I summon you. Come! Baphomet, Lord of Beasts and Labyrinths, heed the voice of Arilu the Witch. You accepted me into the ranks of your servants, and I summon you now as the first among them. Come! 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 Come!
Repeats the summons again and again. Come. Her words of power echo through the air and pass through the threshold, and her call does not go unanswered.
How curious! The gnats have decided to set a trap for me. You have spun out your betrayal like an intricate web, but it will take more than that to bring down the hunger of the abyss.
Ascari's gargantuan compound eyes gaze at you with wary foreboding.
First, my daughter failed me, and now my chosen mortal favorite does the same. Arilu, do you not see that this alliance with your mortal creation will give you nothing? You could have served the greatest of masters, yet you chose to be the puppet of your own creation.
Enough, Baphomet! You are wasting your time on words when the time for words has long passed. We shall fight those who have challenged us and obliterate them. Ascari has spoken.
You are but stepping stones on my path to greatness. You are destined to die.
You have come far, mortal. but not far enough to overpower two lords of the abyss.
You believe yourselves to be our masters. You think you will be our doom. But you've never been anything more than a source of power. We will drain this source to the last drop.
Arilu offers a cold, predatory smile. Holy. Okay, two at once. Let us kill Baphomet first. So I did a bit of reading, and apparently it is relatively easy if you have a lot of ice prison and a lot of buffs and scrolls to strengthen your characters before. Just because you might notice, because I have modifications and I tuned our characters so I can rush through the game simply because it takes ages. I mean, we have spent 150 hours and every fight was what, 10 seconds? I mean, this game would have taken me 200 hours or more if we would not have modded the fighting. That would have been a bit ridiculous.
Perish.
Temporary death of the Abyssal Lords were nothing compared to this final defeat. The last moments of Descari and Baphomet seem to shake the world around you. A surge of power causes the ground to quake, and the chasm leading to their abyssal realm creaks and groans.
It is done. The road to greatness lies ahead. All that remains is for you to use a crystal.
Arilu doesn't look particularly surprised. She seems focused on the task at hand. Oh, interesting. So if you do not do the Nahindrian crystal, let me guess, if we do this 5, we can ascend with our entire party. So you do not necessarily need this Nahindrian crystal research if you want to ascend alone. At least I guess. I authorized some studies to be conducted on the Nahindrian crystals. The research showed that nearly newly created Nahindrian crystals can interact with one another. If you have 5 of them, you can merge them together in one immensely powerful crystal. What do you think would happen if I used a crystal like that?
I can only guess. The regular crystals allowed you to impart some of your power to your followers, those whose souls were closely tied to yours. It is likely that an improved crystal would let you endow your companions with a small amount of the demigod-like power you are about to receive.
If I attain this demigod-like power and heal myself of the wound, what will happen to you?
The wound will eventually destroy my soul. I will never be truly healed. But I have no regrets. I achieved everything I wanted and more.
Quick explanation again. These crystals, I modded them as well. If you want to get them normally, every time you fight a demonic lord in this game, you have to fire at them with a midnight bolt before they die, and then you have to loot them to get the crystal. And you have one bonus crystal if you do Nenio's questline, because in the end you will have to fight Areshkagar. Okay, of course we're going to ascend all of them. I've managed to acquire 6 crystals. I will share them with my companions and give the last one to you, Arilu. All of us will venture into eternity together.
Ascend together? And live without fear of gods or demons, exploring the infinite world. You truly want this. I can't believe it.
You see astonishment in Arilu's eyes.
But I will grant you your wish.
With a wave of her hand, Arilu makes a string of Nahindrian crystals levitate before her. Another gesture, and several of them burst into a swirling whirlwind of pure power. Their essences merge into a single vortex that flows toward you, into you, infusing you with infinite power. For just a moment, you feel as though you are something more than what you are. You are no longer a single person. You are the rift between the worlds. You are the order of the material plane and the chaos of the abyss. You are the beginning and the end of a century-long tangle of destinies and great deeds. You are power, but you are more than just power. Life and death, destiny and great deeds, answers to mysteries, the search for one's true path. The mind can comprehend all of these, and then such concepts can be written down as a sequence of formulas, a series of lines, a chain of thought. Still, a moment always comes when it is time to wrap up, to reach a conclusion, to put a period at the end of the last sentence. On the day of the great battle at the Threshold Fortress, a new name joined the divine pantheon of Golarion. Contrary to the laws of creation and the limitations imposed upon mortal kind, the individual known once as the commander of the Fifth Crusade attained greatness, power, and immortality. He ascended and became a demigod. This new power was likewise assumed by both the commander's loyal companions and the writer of these words. We all received might comparable to that of the heralds of demigods. You took your companions and Arilu into eternity with you. Like the sun breaking through thunder clouds, a radiant bastion of good and order emerged in the darkness of the abyss, as the former realms of Baphomet and Ascari became the commander's realm. The commander's story became legend, one that was spread far and wide in the songs of bards. The tale fell upon the ears of many, those eager to convert to the new faith, and those who nursed ambitions of replicating the commander's achievement. It is no exaggeration, then, to declare that the commander's ascension on that day changed the world forevermore. The impact the commander made upon the world was not confined to the elimination of the wound. All across Golarion, thousands of hearts burned with righteous fire. Battle hymns and legends about the commander spread through nations and cities, inspiring warriors to heroic feats and giving valorous souls the strength to oppose evil. Holy Wardens, we read that already. As a leader of the crusade, won their loyalty and obedience, we read that already. Success, yes. Significance and accomplishments of the crusade were so great that even a century after the end of the war, Dresden retained its prominence, we had that already. Golfrey joined her beloved and gained semi-divine power. She became his eternal partner, best friend and herald. Golfrey's love, faith, and loyalty served as the inspiration for numerous ballads and plays. Beautiful ending. Upon his return to Kinabris, Hulrun ranted and raged. Okay, yes, we had that already. The ward stones from the chain, okay, disassembled. We read that. Lady in Shadow found a way to benefit from the situation. By magnanimously accepting the warriors from the destroyed armies of Baphomet and Ascari, she significantly bolstered the might of the Midnight Isles. Few realized that the commander had effectively foiled Nocticula's plans with his decision to keep the passage between the Abyss and Golarion open. The Lady in Shadow began preparing her defenses in secret. She knew that sooner or later invaders would appear in her realm, and it mattered not whether they would be demons or mortals. Interesting, so in this version, in this what-if scenario, she will not or would have not become the Redeemer Queen. Okay. Baphomet was too cunning for his own good and died his final death. Rumors say that upon hearing of Baphomet's demise, Asmodeus permitted himself a satisfied chuckle that shook the halls of hell. The demon lord Ascari died his final death, and his cult perished with him. Azuzuya, we read that already. The Tirabates adamant about retiring, not okay, we read that already. Hand of the Inheritor returned to the halls of his heavenly mistress. Okay, it was difficult for him to forgive himself for his transgressions and his fall. But there were still many places left throughout the multiverse where evil dwelt and injustice was being wrought, and the Herald of Iomide could not abide it. He picked up his sword again and rose to the defense of the weak and defenseless. That's a bit weak. I expected him to maybe say hello or work with us, now that we have attained godhoodness. Okay, having rediscovered Ascent Waiting, we had that already. Ascension enhanced Sila's power but did not change her character. The irrepressible warrior is frequently seen in the company of good gods. Wait, but she wasn't with us, so all of our companions ascended? From Caden Kailian to Chaldira to Zaristan, rumor has it that Iomide herself often honors her with heart-to-heart conversations and joint training sessions. The goddess enjoys reminiscing about her mortal days. More importantly, Sila never stops thinking or caring about the common folk in need of help. Not for a moment. Camelia's euphoria at gaining semi-divine power quickly passed, giving way to irritability. Murder had once filled her with tremulous excitement, whereas now it brought her nothing but boredom, given that she was never in any danger. Unable to come to terms with her new status, she left her best friend and disappeared, losing herself among the planes of the multiverse. You know, that's a better ending for her. Horgus Gwyrm never saw his daughter again, okay. Lan's ascension left him perplexed. He had intended to die in the war against the demons, but instead he was suddenly granted eternal life, and he had no idea what to do with it. After getting some advice from the commander, he made a to-do list. Go on a sea voyage, learn to read and write well, and of course defeat a few hundred more demons just for old time's sake. Oh, I want to read Rigil. Ascension was a true challenge for Amber. For years she had rebuked the good gods for doing so little to help mortals, but now she finally understood the burden of divinity. Realizing that even her new powers were not enough to save all who suffered, she went to heaven to her grandma, the Imperial Lord Unduletta, and asked her to be her apprentice. But she continued to visit the mortal world to aid the defenseless or to convince a villain to change their ways. Also a better ending for her. Much better ending. And of course for Sila. Ascension opened up fascinating, oh my goodness, Nenyo. Opportunities for Nenyo. Please don't make experiments with black holes. That doesn't end well. Now she could discover if a High Priest of Iomide could convert Numerian barbarians if he happened to be teleported into their midst. He couldn't. Discover how many women in Absalom screamed at the sight of a dead mouse on their pillow, approximately 34%, and see what two armies would do if all their weapons disappeared the night before the battle. That would make peace. Very interesting. Duran Alinde, who had always despised piety in all forms, suddenly became an object of worship himself. Among followers of the rapidly growing Church of the Commander, the Count was the most popular associate of the new deity. He was the one most often pictured at the Commander's side in religious paintings and reliefs, possibly because artists found the handsome Arsima to be the most appealing subject. As for Duran himself, he solemnly swore never to answer a single prayer, and it seems he duly kept his promise. After the Ascension, Sociel went to Nirvana to appear before Shalene in person, but he did not stay long. Just as when he was a mere mortal, the servant of the goddess of beauty could not enjoy the peace of her fragrant gardens when blood was still being spilled elsewhere. The soldier's angel, as was his new moniker, would eagerly answer prayers and appear on the battlefield to heal the wounded or carry them to safety away from the front lines. Many warriors wore medallions engraved with his image for good luck. Damn, went to Nirvana to appear before Shalene in person. That's a nice ending. Acquiring incredible power did not change Rigil Derange in any way. Why would it? He had already been working to a 500-year plan for the fight against chaos and smoothly switched to devising a plan to definitely solve the problem of the Abyss permanently. Even devils respected his assiduousness. Rigil in turn found the discipline in the ranks of hell to be somewhat lacking. Rigil in turn found the discipline in the ranks of hell to be somewhat lacking. Okay, that sounds like Rigil. Oh my goodness, this game. Okay. Upon gaining semi-divine powers, Greyball lost interest in the assassin craft. There were too few opponents worthy of his skill. He became the patron of mortals who respected and honored the law of the streets, the cult known as the Backstreet Wardens. Or why didn't you name it Backstreet Boys? That's a missed chance, but it's probably copyright. Formed under his patronage and consisted of thieves, bandits, murderers and other dregs of society, but they all shared an understanding, a code. On occasion, Grabo himself enjoyed a nighttime stroll through the city in the guise of an ordinary mortal, just to remind the lowlifes that reputation carries more weight than coin. For the longest time, the ascended succubus could not bring herself to set foot in Elysium. She felt as though she would defile it with her presence. Arushale mustered the courage to appear before Desna only after the goddess sent her a prophetic dream, a big invitation. No one knows what the former demon discussed with the goddess, but after that meeting, Arushale would often descend to the material plane, where, as an unseen angel, she would keep watch over mortals, helping those who had gone astray to find redemption. When the former demon was not busy helping mortals, she spent time with a commander who often visited her at her house. They had nothing to hide or be ashamed of, and yet, in her shyness, Arushale tried to conceal their relationship from prying eyes. "This is our Elysium," she would say, "yours and mine, and no one needs to know about us." What?
And what of me, the writer of these words? The half-demon witch known as the architect of the world wound. I gained more than I could have hoped. I achieved my purpose. I vanquished death. Untold might and all eternity lie ahead. How should I spend that eternity? I have not yet decided. But I know, from experience, I know that every moment is priceless if it is spent with the one who matters most to you. I have recounted the story of my life for you, Pharasma, Lady of Graves. Not only of my life, but of the commander's also. I believe the tale of such an illustrious figure would pique even a goddess's curiosity. I have come here to say that he and I are no longer in your power. This is the last, most significant result of my transformation experiment.
He is no longer within my power. This is true. Divinity has given him the right to decide his own fate. But you entered my boneyard to bring me these tidings. And it is within my power to unmake you, destroy you, and erase you from the cosmos. I wonder, did he anticipate such an outcome? Did he purposefully choose you to be his emissary?
Do not intervene and play scene Arilu blow up. No, she's not going to blow up. You have no right to decide our fates, Pharasma.
I have relayed my message. Farewell, Lady of Graves. We will not meet again.
Their combined power has grown immensely, enough to almost rival my own. So be it.